Hi, soul being absolutely beautiful every time. Welcome back to part 3 of the soul system structure series. Um, so now that you're more aware of your, now that you have an open heart to what is actually going on within yourself, you can become informed on how you engage with your external reality and how it interacts with what is actually going on within you. So, in part 1, we talked about the 3 pillars that govern your soul system structure. And we're focusing on these 3 pillars to ensure that you're actually creating from your soul blueprint and not against it, so that life is actually easier. You're actually not stuck in unfulfilling patterns. And in part 2, we went deeper into emotional sovereignty with energetic sovereignty, which is tied to your emotional body, which is tied to your emotions, and and we did. I showed you an example of an exercise you can do to really pay attention to the energy pockets that are actually working against you. So it's about making your soul and your human being work together. And today we're going to go deeper, even deeper into energetic sovereignty, and how it actually ties to inner union and the other third pillar, which is ancestral technology. I'm looking at my notes here so I don't get off track. But all of these 3 pillars, they work together. They create it's like a triangle, right? So they all communicate together. But it's all about understanding these principles based on what is actually active and live within you. That's how you actually learn faster. It's applying and being aware to where it's actually happening within you and applying it. That's why I broke down each video, each section to part. I made this a part series so that it's easier to follow along and actually go and apply and come back, and so you're not overwhelmed. And so with energetic sovereignty, it works when you have an open heart. When you have a closed heart, it works against you because you're not working with truth. So it's all about emotional truth. When you have an open heart, right, you're opening your heart to to the vulnerable aspects of yourself, of your human experience, what makes you very vulnerable, and paying attention to the stories that are being created to protect these vulnerable parts that are in your heart. So you're opening your heart to pay attention to and to receive, and without having your mind take you out of this experience. So it's not about, in the spiritual community, we're taught open heart for other people, but it's really about yourself. I'm talking about opening your heart for your human being, for all aspects of your human experience. And that's what I'm usually talking about on this channel, unless I say anything different, because you are the core of that. So naturally, once you master you opening your heart to all aspects of yourself, the way you engage with other people, it sets the tone for that. Because when you have met all parts of yourself and you create a safe space for it, you're aware of the parts that that you're repressing, you're aware of the parts that you're shaming, you're aware of the parts that you talk yourself out of expressing, you're aware of the parts of yourself that you fight with, you're aware of all those parts, right? And you create a safe space to actually really have a deeper connection with yourself. When other people come to you, you are able to integrate all of that, and you are able to hold your own and allow other people to hold their own, right? So you are able to even communicate deeper, to connect deeper, because you've met yourself deeply. So your connections are naturally going to become more fulfilling, more and you're gonna get more clarity on who's for you and who's not for you, because you have gathered intel on your own emotional needs, on your principles, on your values, on where you're taking life. So connecting with people, engaging with people becomes easier. You're quicker because you're more in tune with your system. So with an open heart, it is easy to get emotionally overwhelmed and taken over by your emotions. And this is where you actually want to ground yourself. The grounding practices we spoke about in part 2, this is where you actually want to anchor them in. When you notice your emotions are taking over you can't, they're disempowering you. This is where you want to you want to create a toolkit that actually supports you throughout your life, upgrading your lifestyle. A toolkit actually upgrades your lifestyle so that you're actually taking care of all your beingness, all your 4 bodies, so that you are actually living a rich life, a rich emotional life. So it's about noticing when, especially if you're finding my channel, it means that you're an intuitive and you naturally attune to other people's emotions, and you want to avoid doing it at the expense of your own emotional richness. You want to avoid taking care of other people before you take care of yourself, because that is not your highest embodiment. That's actually it's co-creating the distortion of I have to sacrifice myself for somebody else to be happy. We can both, when it is actually, we can both thrive without sacrificing ourselves, our emotional needs, and we co-create. Everybody is happy. And this information, I can already sense people are already thinking and logically like, but no, this information I'm connecting to you through the divine mind. And from your open heart, this is where you can actually receive your divine mind, your soul's mind, your the mind of your soul. It doesn't make sense because you're meant to work through it, through your emotional body, and integrate it by taking an action that actually pours into you and doesn't take away from other people. Because we are taught in the in the third dimensional world, in 3D, that we have to with depending on the bloodline you're born into, in 3D we're taught that I can't be happy unless everybody else is happy. I can't be joyful unless other people are joyful with me. Whereas the truth is, everybody is going to experience these emotions at different times. Sometimes it's going to be together and that's perfect, but at other times there's always going to be some incongruence, right? Other people might be feeling sad whilst you're genuinely happy. Other people might be genuinely grieving whilst you're in bliss. It's part of life, but you're not responsible for other people's emotional states. And this is where you want to individuate from. You want to create a healthy distance, emotional distance. It's not about over empathizing. It's about holding space for other people, the people you care for, empathizing with other people who are having these emotions, but not doing it at the expense of your own inner emotional stability. So there's a balance, there's a sacred balance there, where you can experience both emotions at the same time. You can feel them, what they're feeling, and connect from there, but also not taking away from your truth. So this nuance, it's an effortless manifestation of actually working with your soul system structure and actually designing your life around that, so that it's easier to not crumble, to not experience emotional chaos, to actually just think of it like it's when you reach your roots deeper into earth, you have a stronger spine to expand into, right? You have a stronger spine, spine. I mean, I'm thinking of a tree, right? This tree, it has to have deep roots for it to be able to expand like this and not fall off when the wind comes through. And the wind in this, I'm describing other people's emotions, I'm describing the external world. So you want to reach deep within yourself and ground yourself in your soul truth. You want to really pay attention to your internal world so that you are anchored within yourself in your truth that actually pours into your soul. So that when other people's winds and the other people's inner world comes towards you, it doesn't bother you. Their storms don't bother you. You just know intuitively what to do to protect your inner world and to dance around it without taking away from your center. So sitting still, taking pauses, right? Taking pauses, being comfortable with being empty and not trying to fill up the gaps. Because the gaps, what part of you is trying to fill the gaps? What part of you is uncomfortable with just being with you? That's the part you want to expose. And I'm not saying expose as the negative connotation of expose. I'm saying expose as in bring light to that part of you. Witness it fully. And really be curious, like which part of me is not comfortable in stillness? Which part of me doesn't want this moment to just be mine? In the mine in the sense of like that. Which part of me doesn't want me to be me as I am right now? To just be. And you might notice like there are these parts of you that are like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't be here. We have all this stuff to do. We're wasting time. You're going crazy. You're going to go crazy.